Hi everyone, we're Mimicker, here to introduce all kinds of knowledge, even the stuff we didn't know about. Today, we are undertaking a necessary but incredibly sobering deep dive. We're looking at modern building safety.
Yeah.
And this is a topic that feels, well, acutely relevant following the recent catastrophic Wang Fuk Court fire in Tai Po, Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
It's an event that didn't just happen. It really laid bare the flaws, the structural and systemic flaws that let a simple accident just explode into a mass casualty disaster.
It's a heavy subject, for sure, but one we absolutely have to confront, especially for any of you living in, high-density cities.
Right.
Because when we look at the data we collect, the raw statistics, the technical details, these patterns, they just become crystal clear.
So what's our mission here?
Our mission for this deep dive is to use that data to really analyze the immediate failures in this tragedy. Then we'll dissect those to common fatal factors from fire history all over the world. The goal is to give you, the listener, crucial, actionable survival knowledge for your home, for when you travel. We want to turn this analysis into knowledge that actually saves lives.
Okay, let's start with the scope of the tragedy in Hong Kong, the timeline. This fire started on the evening of November 26, 2025.
And it wasn't a contained incident, not at all. It escalated fast to a 905 alarm fire.
Which is the highest level, right?
The highest. And it raged for over 43 grueling hours before they finally got it out on the 28th.
The numbers are just staggering.
They really are. As of the latest reports, we're talking at least 128 deaths. That includes one firefighter who died responding.
A hero.
Absolutely. Then you have 83 confirmed injuries, but the real measure of the disaster, between 150 and 200 people are still listed as missing. You can't just gloss over that.
No, that's a profound community tragedy. So it makes you ask the big question.
Yeah.
How does a fire in a residential building lead to that in 2025?
Exactly. We assume our buildings are safe, and that question points directly to the environment the building was in.
The renovation.
The renovations. That was the first and maybe the most defining fatal factor. Wang Fuk Court was undergoing a major external wall renovation.
So scaffolding everywhere.
Bamboo scaffolding and this protective nylon netting shrouding the entire building. Now, officials said the netting was compliant, but the real culprit, what the data shows, was the material used to temporarily seal everything up.
What was it?
Expanded polystyrene boards, or EPS.
Wait, you mean styrofoam?
Basically, yeah, dense styrofoam. And I struggle to understand how that material is allowed anywhere near a heat source on a huge construction project. In a fire, it's a death sentence.
So these flammable boards were all over the outside of the building.
Ceiling windows, doorways, and the moment the fire jumped from that netting to the EPS, the flames didn't just climb, they raced up the exterior walls.
Wow.
But here's the crucial part. The heat was so intense, so fast, that it caused glass windows to shatter across entire floors all at the same time.
Which means the fire wasn't stopped by the internal walls or the fire doors.
Yeah.
It just spread externally.
And breached the building from the outside in.
So it jumped into adjacent towers, too, bypassing every single internal safety measure.
That's exactly right. And then the scaffolding itself made it worse. When that burning bamboo collapsed from the upper floors, it didn't just create a pile of burning debris.
It blocked the exits.
Blocked crucial ground floor exits and slowed down the fire response teams who were trying to get in.
So you've got this highly flammable material accelerating the fire and then structural collapse blocking escape. But the source material also pointed to a terrifying systemic failure.
The alarm.
People weren't even alerted in time.
That's the regulatory horror story here. The Director of Fire Services confirmed that the manual fire alarms in 8 of the affected blocks, they failed to function effectively.
8 blocks.
Think about that. You're asleep, and the one system that's supposed to give you that golden time, the few minutes you need to escape, it just doesn't work. That failure is directly tied to the high death toll.
And what makes this so infuriating is that the project was already flagged, wasn't it? It had a bad safety history.
A terrible one. The Labor Department did 16 site inspections since July of 2024. They issued 6 improvement notices and even started 3 prosecutions.
16 inspections.
Yeah.
And yet the conditions were still there.
Clearly.
Yeah.
The materials, the non-functioning alarms, it was all still present. It really makes you question if the failure was just the contractor's negligence or if it was regulatory inaction.
And the trigger. The spark.
Well, it's still unproven, but there are persistent rumors of workers smoking on the scaffolding, a discarded cigarette. Or maybe sparks from improper hot work, like welding. It's all under investigation.
So the conclusion is, it was an accident. But it was an accident that was primed to become a mega disaster.
A toxic combination, cheap, flammable renovation materials and management systems that were either ignored or just didn't exist.
It's unsettling how similar that sounds to other disasters. The external spread feels so much like...
Grenfell.
Exactly, Grenfell Tower. That brings us to our first recurring global pattern, these deadly accelerator materials. What are the common threads over the last 50 years?
Materials are always factor number one. You mentioned Grenfell, and that's the textbook modern example. The exterior was wrapped in aluminum composite material, ACM, with this highly flammable polyethylene core.
The cladding.
Right, and once that ignited, the cladding acted like a vertical wick. The fire just leapfrogged up the floors, completely bypassing all the internal fire compartmentation. It's a design that makes internal safety almost irrelevant.
But this isn't a new problem. I mean, you can go all the way back to the 1973 Summerlin disaster in the UK.
Yes, that was a leisure center, and they used huge amounts of flammable acrylic plastic sheeting for the walls and the roof. A witness at the time described it as being wrapped in solid gasoline.
Wow.
It just melted and collapsed so fast, the building's skin was the fuel.
And for sheer speed,
Yeah.
you have to look at the Station nightclub fire in 2003.
Rhode Island. A truly horrific case. Pyrotechnics on stage ignited some flammable acoustic foam on the walls. The entire club was engulfed in like a rolling wall of fire in less than 90 seconds.
90 seconds. You have no time to even think.
You're given no time to react. That's why we call it the golden time. And losing that time is what kills people. Which brings us to our second theme. Structural flaws. How physics can turn a building into a giant furnace.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for anyone living or working in a high-rise. The stack effect, or the chimney effect.
Right. The stack effect is just the movement of air and smoke in a tall building. It's caused by thermal buoyancy, hot air rises.
Simple physics.
Simple physics. And if you have open shafts like elevator shafts, stairwells, utility conduits, they become perfect chimneys for smoke and heat.
And the classic example of this has to be the 1980 MGM Grand Fire in Las Vegas.
A devastating fire. It started in the casino, which had no automatic sprinklers. But while the fire itself was on the lower levels, the thick, toxic smoke just raced up through the building's unsealed vertical openings.
So people died far from the actual flames.
Exactly. Many victims were dozens of floors above the fire. They died from smoke inhalation because the building's own design funneled deadly smoke right into their rooms.
And Hong Kong saw a version of this in 1996, the Garley Building fire. Renovations again.
Another painful example. They had removed some elevator doors during the renovation, which created this huge open chimney. It funneled heat and flames straight up, contributing to the 41 deaths there.
Renovations are so often when these hidden dangers emerge.
It's a powerful point. The construction environment itself is a major hazard. And that brings us to our third and maybe most devastating theme, pure human and management failures.
We saw the lack of alarms at Wang Fuk Court and no sprinklers at the MGM Grand. That's negligence. But the most shocking example, it has to be the Equabalaños supermarket fire in Paraguay in 2004.
It's deeply disturbing. As the fire spread through the supermarket, the owners ordered the exit doors to be locked.
Why?
To stop people from looting.
You're kidding.
No, they tracked hundreds of people inside. It resulted in 424 deaths.
That's horrific. Locking doors to save inventory over human lives. It really puts that phrase, unobstructed escape routes, into perspective.
They have to be non-negotiable. Physical barriers, managerial decisions, design flaws, anything that impedes an immediate exit is a death sentence. That's the one constant in all these tragedies, the loss of the ability to escape.
Okay, we'll unpack all this and make it actionable for you, the listener. Given this terrifying catalog of failures, what immediate practical steps can you take to protect yourself?
Right. We move from analysis to personal defense, and we start with prevention. The setup in your home.
Where most fires start.
Exactly. Usually electrical faults or cooking. So first, electrical safety. Never, ever overload your sockets. And be so careful with high wattage things like space heaters.
How far away should they be?
At least 3 feet or about 0.9 meters away from any combustible material. Curtains, furniture, bedding, anything.
And kitchen safety. This is huge.
You never leave frying food unattended, ever. And if a grease fire does start, you have to smother it, cover the pan with a lid.
Never use water.
Never use water. And there's a scientific reason why. Water is denser than oil, so it sinks. But the heat instantly vaporizes it into steam, which expands its volume by 1,700 times.
Wow.
And that expansion ejects the burning oil everywhere. It turns a small pan fire into an explosive, room-engulfing blaze.
That basic chemistry shows why the rule is so important. Okay, beyond prevention, we need detection.
Absolutely. You need working smoke alarms on every level of your home and inside every bedroom. And you have to test them monthly. Just press that little button.
What about a fire extinguisher?
I strongly recommend one. A dry chemical or CO2 extinguisher. It's inexpensive insurance, but you must take 5 minutes to learn the PASS method. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep before you need it.
So once your setup is secure, you need a plan.
You need a blueprint. This is where muscle memory saves lives. Create a home escape plan, 2 ways out of every single room.
2 ways.
2 ways, and designate a specific, easy-to-find meeting place outside. And please, please practice that plan at least twice a year. Practice it at night.
Okay, now for survival. The reaction. If prevention fails, speed is everything.
Yeah, warn everyone. Call emergency services 911, 999, 112 immediately. If the fire is tiny, you can try to fight it for maybe 10 seconds. After that, your only priority is to get out.
And the single most crucial tactic.
Crawl low.
Crawl low. Learn from disasters like the MGM Grand.
Toxic smoke and heat rise. That smoke is full of carbon monoxide, and it will kill you much faster than the flames. The freshest, most breathable air is near the floor. Crawl on your hands and knees. Keep your head less than 30 centimeters, about 12 inches, from the ground.
And the door check protocol. This is so important for apartment living.
Paramount. Before you open any interior door, touch it with the back of your hand. If it's hot, do not open it.
Why?
Because it means the fire is right outside. If you open that door, you'll feed it a rush of oxygen and you'll get a huge backdraft. Find another route.
There's one other simple action. If you do get out,
Close the doors behind you.
why does that help so much?
It seals off the fire's oxygen supply in that room. It can drastically slow its spread and buy crucial time for other people or for the fire service to arrive.
And finally, what if you're trapped? High floor, smoke in the hallway.
Do not try to run through a burning corridor. Stay in a room with a window. Seal the gaps under the door and any vents with wet towels or sheets to keep the smoke out. Signal for help from the window and wait for rescue. Staying put and sealing yourself in can be the difference between life and death.
Wow, we've moved quickly through a lot today. From the shock of the Wang Fuk Court fire, that deadly polystyrene and the failed alarms, to understanding these global patterns like the chimney effect.
And the extreme danger of flammable exterior cladding.
What's the big takeaway?
The takeaway is clear. While many fires start as accidents, the mega disasters that follow are almost always caused by systemic failures. Failures in materials and structural design and in management.
So this tragedy demands a re-examination of construction practices.
Worldwide. Specifically, how do we improve safety regulations for materials and actually hold contractors accountable for safety culture? It really raises an important question for you, the listener, to explore. What potential fire hazards might be hidden in your own building's exterior or its renovation history? And are your smoke alarms tested and ready to go right now?
Thanks for tuning into this episode. If you enjoyed our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on the notification bell. See you guys.